As soon as you walk into the venue, straight flex on his part. All of his Grammys are in the wall, and they're like on each. You walk down the hallway to go inside the club, and there's nothing but straight Grammys. I'm like, wow. I'm like, yo, who is this guy? His voice is incredible. Like, where does this dude come from? I went to the jam session, and next thing you know, Gordon Campbell, famous, legendary drummer. I saw Gordon one day. He was like, oh man, I forgot you was here. You available tomorrow? $500. Just easy. Like, why? Just because I was out and I was promoting myself. The fact that I was in town.
Well, welcome everybody. I'm here. I'm so delighted to finally do this. I've been talking with Chris about doing this interview for a little while now. I had the privilege of joining a workshop of his a couple months back, and I said, man, I got to get this guy on the YouTube account, man. So everybody, this is Chris Cadenhead. If you don't know him, now you know him. He's worked with some of the best musical minds in the industry. Most recently, I know that you're doing work with Mr. Odom, Leslie Odom Jr., man.
Yes, sir.
Amazing name today in the Broadway space. And yeah, he's got his album that just dropped today. Can you tell us a little bit about that album? I know it's released at this point, but what was it like working on this album?
Yes. An offering live from Speakeasy Studios in Burbank. It was a beautiful time, man. It was a beautiful time. We we all just got together under Mr. Odom's leadership, of course, and he had a vision, and us as accompanists, it's up to us to do all that we can to try to bring any vision to life, right? So
absolutely,
it allows you to, instead of, I'm at a point right now where the things that I practice are less note oriented,
sure,
and more the other stuff oriented. How can I say that, right? Space.
Yeah.
If it's just three, I honestly like to practice with three notes. Just, how good can I play this triad? Am I flamming a note accidentally? Am I, playing one note before the next? Just really, I'm just at the point now where it's like, okay, of course I need to practice more vocabulary. That's always, we always are doing that. But I'm at the point now, it's like, can I polish what I already have right now? You know what I mean? I just want the information and the vocabulary that I love and that I recite often. I want that to sound the best that it can be before I move on to, learn some more stuff. So It was an amazing experience, man. I'm so grateful to be a part of it.
Love to hear it. So you touched on something very important. There gets to be a point where, you stop consuming new repertoire, for example, stop consuming new concepts maybe, and you just try to refine what's already in you, what you've built up to that point. I would consider that a professional trait. That's a mature trait as a musician. But since we're there talking about maturity as a musician and professionalism and all of these things, can you tell us in your own words what defines a professional musician?
Well, I like to use the term professional as simply, supporting yourself and your family as you would with any other 9-to-5 job.
Sure.
If you can get to the point while you're doing that through your instrument, I don't care if it's the big stage, if it's a wedding on the week, like, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. If you're making money with your instrument to support yourself and your family, you're a professional, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I concur.
Right. So yeah, and especially online, 2025, there's so many ways to monetize your gift, online. It's ridiculous. So, but that being said, when it comes to specifically, maybe we could talk about my specific niche, which is accompanying vocalists. To be able to play music at a high level when you get to a certain, point where you're playing in venues and stuff like Carnegie Hall and all this, when you get to a certain point, it doesn't matter. Like, you're expected to play great. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that's baseline. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Being able to play perfectly is baseline. You know what I mean? Yep. Sorry. So that being said, then it becomes, okay, what kind of person are you?
Right.
Are you an individual who likes to be helpful on and off the bandstand? Are you always looking for ways to contribute to the situation versus take away from the situation, like complaining or, all these little things here. So
character.
Character, yes, sir. Your character, integrity,
Mm-hmm.
doing what you say you're gonna do, which means if you're at a rehearsal and you say, okay, I'll be sure to check that out. It's not a thing that you say and then we go to Burger King after and forget all about it.
Yeah.
No, you write it down and you, like in my case, I'm so forgetful. I'll say, "Hey Siri, set alarm for 12 p.m. tomorrow, labeled work on so and so." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to, like,
Yeah.
so that being said, yeah, there's just your character, your integrity, your work ethic. To me, that's the biggest one.
Yeah.
I've always been the guy. I feel like I've always been the guy who had to work harder than the next man to get, especially when it comes to things like my time feel, and meaning where I place the notes in the beat. So stuff like this. Just being someone who's very detail oriented, very very selfless when it comes to your contributions on the bandstand. Things like this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. So you said something that I'm sure can shake a lot of musicians who are, maybe up and coming. They're trying to get into the professional space. That playing perfectly is the baseline, right? And, I come from the world of classical music where it's very common that you're just in a practice room for 7-8 hours a day, and you're trying to play perfectly, right, as perfectly as possible. And yes, that is the standard. And so beyond that, yeah, your character matters. How much you can serve the music, how much you can serve the band leader, or the boss, whoever that may be, or whoever those people may be. Right, you're stepping into a situation where there is a vision that is set, and you have to help support that vision. You know what I mean? It's a very musicians who play in that space need to go into it with a very selfless mindset. That's what it sounds like to me that you're kind of communicating here. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 100%. I want to, as a music director, I'm looking for to hire the guy who, again, like we said, every candidate gets the job done well. It's not about that. I'm looking for the
Hmm.
guy who is positive in his speech and in his thinking, who is helpful. You know what I mean? Who offers solutions to every problem.
Yeah.
Who's not on time, who's early. Early is on time is
Hmm.
late. Late is what? Unacceptable.
Right.
Right? I us ADHDers here, we struggle with the time thing a little bit, but there's a little grace there when you're all the other things I mentioned. They
Sure.
give you, you're 5 minutes late to lobby call. He plays good piano. He's a nice guy. We'll let him have.
That's awesome. So with all of those things considered, right? You play great as the baseline. Your character is in order. You're trying to support the vision of the performance or series of performances, right? Whatever that project might be. How does a keyboard player then move forward to land a good gig?
Promotion. We can stop right there. It's just one word.
Hmm.
You just have to promote yourself.
Okay.
um, um, something that I take note from you extremely well, and I struggle with. I'm working on my YouTube setup in the game, trying to get there, but I admire you and your content game. I'm just like, man, this guy is on point with that. So I'm just slowly trying to practice that, and stuff like that. But that being said, promote yourself, promote yourself.
Yeah.
There's a business YouTube channel that I follow. YouTube channel. Myron Golden is his name. He's
Yeah. Yeah. He's
yeah,
great.
but yeah, he incredible knowledge, wisdom there.
Hmm.
But he always says there are millions of people who want to buy what you have for sale if they only knew you existed.
That's right.
Right? And what do we as touring pianists have for sale? Well, it's our skill set.
Hmm.
And we want to use our skill set to feed our family, right? So that being said, what's the missing link there? Okay, well, in my case, and this is back in 2013, I said the only way I can do this is to just go right where they pick from. You know what I mean? And so I moved to LA from Miami, from South Florida, in 2013, and I was just relentlessly DM Jarius Mosee, poor guy. He has some Facebook messages from me 3 4 years before I moved to LA, just trying to meet anyone who will respond in any way to me. But what I learned then is that people on that level who was trying to reach out, in order to get a response from them, you have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's kind of weird to say, but that's just how it works, especially in the, I'm sure all scenes, but LA specifically, especially what I'm talking about here. So, but that being said, the promotion in my case was every single day, every night. If there's a jam session, like every night of the week, I'm looking, I'm texting people. Is there anything going on in LA that
Yeah.
I can show up to, that I can be in the? I can't tell you how many times I decided to. I guess I'll get out of my robe, take a shower, and go to the jam session, whatever. I
Yeah.
went to the jam session. And next thing you know, Gordon Campbell, famous, legendary drummer. I
Yep.
saw
Yep.
Gordon one day. He was like, "Oh man, I forgot you was here. You available tomorrow? $500." Just easy. Like, why? Just because I was out and I was promoting myself. The fact that
Right.
I was in town. So what would the? And I want to ask you, what do you think the 2025 equivalent, online equivalent of that would be?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question. So, and I love that you posed it because I was going to go there anyway. Um, so for those who are in the online space like myself, right? You go to any of my socials, I got content for pages and pages and pages, right? That is the online equivalent of quote unquote showing up, advertising yourself, showing what you can do, showing your skill set. But even then, that is not to replace the in-person connection, right? You can't think that the online promotion of yourself is going to supersede or surpass that in-person connection that you can make with a person, right? You're just like in my case, I got 300 some videos on Instagram right now, right? Those are all past recordings of who I am, who I was, whatever. But in real time, if I'm running into this drummer or this other keyboardist, this vocalist, and we actually have a conversation in real time, that's building a connection that you might not get from just watching me online. You know what I mean? So all that to say, still put yourself out there, right? Go to that random jam session, go to this performance that your buddy's doing and go support them. You never know who's going to be in the room. Still send the DM, still send the email. Even though the percentage of a positive response might be small, it's still greater than zero. It's still greater than if you don't do it at all.
You
You
miss
know what I
100% of
mean?
the shots you don't take. It's as simple as
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. And so with all of that said, all of those things are going to stack on top of each other. You might get an opportunity from somebody that came across your content online. You might get an opportunity from whoever you ran into in the grocery store randomly. You know what I mean? You might get an opportunity from somebody that you did email or send a DM to. And all of those opportunities are going to, they're just building your resume, so to say. So I don't think any one can be neglected depending on what you're trying to achieve. But they're only going to work in your favor if you're, genuinely trying to pursue it in an honest way. So
Love it. Love it.
with all that said,
Love it.
you're going on tour with Leslie Odom Jr. Tell us a little bit about what it's like to prepare for a tour of that level. You're going to be on the road for a couple of months, Tell us what that's like getting ready to perform at a high level multiple nights in a row.
For me, it starts with the fact that my body is my instrument. The piano is the piano is just a wood box with strings in it. Knowing that November 9th here, when I leave we have a show in New York before we start rehearsing for the tour, but November 9th, I'm pretty much gone until top of January, so I'm thinking, okay, that's going to be grueling. Let me take. It was like maybe 2 weeks ago. I just went to New York for 2 days. I saw Robert Glasper at the Blue Note. Hung out a little bit. We went to New Blue, so and so. For Producer Mondays, shout out to Ray Angry. If you guys were in New York on a Monday, go see him at Producer Mondays at New Blue. But yeah, that being said, man, I didn't do anything but take my book bag and walk New York City. I fell asleep in Central Park. You know what I mean? Like I didn't answer my phone. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
just like I need so move all this type of stuff. The end of the year grind. Knowing that, I'm like, all right, I just need to give my body a rest for a few days. And
Hmm.
even when I came back here, yes, I play piano at the Wynn here in Las Vegas, and I just go there and come back to the house. But I pretty much chill because I know it's going to be a lot to do, in the next couple of months. So I would say that's the first thing is I just assess my calendar and I see what all I have to do locally or online or otherwise, and I just try to find the most optimal time to incorporate rest in there because you can't.
Hmm.
Like they say, you can't give from an empty well. You can't, charge somebody's phone if you have an empty battery yourself. All this kind of thing, right? So,
Hmm.
I just try to make sure my spiritual and emotional and mental physical batteries are charged before I go. So I would say that's the main thing. The second thing, like there's one song that he does in the key of A, and so I just try to go through the key of A and do everything that I know how to do in, let's say, E flat. Try to do that in A. Like I'll give you an example. Like if we do like a 2-5-1, I'll try to do that in A.
Hmm.
And so what about like a 3-6-2-5? I love doing in the key of E flat, right? I love doing so I'll try to just do that thing in A, right?
Yeah.
See? Not even quite. Right, so just because I want to at any point I want to call, like I was telling you about the vocabulary, the
Hmm.
things that I just played, those are versions of the same thing I play over and over, like all the
Right.
time. I just love
Right.
those certain movements, whatever. So that's one is I'll go to like, are there any keys? We're playing in the key of B too. There's like a song in B which I've learned to love the sound of, but well, just a side note, in the key of B, that's one of the only keys where you can glissando all the
The
black
black
keys.
notes.
Like if you play a B major seven, like
Yeah.
I like to do this two-handed thing, look like a
Yeah.
gun,
Yeah.
and then back up. So I love the key of B for so I think a lot of us is like, oh, whatever key it is, like, oh, E or whatever, find, make those keys your friend. You know what I mean? Just
Yes.
live with them enough so that it's the big scary monster is not so scary anymore. You'll
Right.
find out there's a lot of similarities. The next thing is, are there any technical facility challenges? Like, for example, I'm actually playing acoustic in this show, and
Nice.
we do this song, Merry Christmas, darling. You know, that's his song. So for me, of course, I'm way more comfortable on the piano, but I am playing guitar in the show, so a lot of time for me is spent, just rehearsing, just putting the reps in the material. I'll just play the
Yeah.
chord progression.
Hmm.
See, this one is a challenge for me, going from this to
Yeah.
cleanly. So just this one change is all I'm working on every
Uh-huh.
day. Stacking those little fixes
Yeah.
with the material to make the overall thing just smooth. And the more prepared I am, the more I can express myself and not have to worry about the actual music. You know what I mean?
For sure.
That's why I'm always trying to get my students to get off the page. You know what I mean?
For
Like
sure. Yeah.
memorize
Yeah.
the stuff enough so that you can get off the page, so you don't have to think about it. Now we can start talking about working on music.
Going back to, that baseline, the expectation is that you're going to know the music as you should, right? Everything beyond that is just expression. You know what I mean? Expression of self, expression of whatever other thing. So I see that it looks like you have it illuminated back there behind you, that Grammy nomination.
Yes,
Tell us
yes,
what it
sir.
was like getting that call. So Chris, you played it was Rhodes, right? It
Yes.
was Rhodes on Terrace Martin's album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tell us what that was like getting the call that you got you were Grammy nominated.
Man, well, that's the thing. Terrace is, thank you, Terrace. Shout out to you for everything you do for LA and the music community in general. But yeah, man, I when I moved to LA, I joined Terrace's band, and we were doing some gigs, and one day he was like, "Hey, let's pull up to the studio." I believe it was Red Bull Studios in Santa Monica,
Okay.
and yeah, and we had a. We had a suitcase. Dang, was it 88 key? No, I think it was 73 key. But it was a suitcase Fender Rhodes, not Rhodes, but a
Okay. Yeah.
Fender Rhodes. It still has a Fender logo on there,
Yeah.
pre CBS, right?
Nice.
So yeah, and it was voiced and taken care of exceptionally well by Benjamin Bove. Shout out to Benjamin. He actually is the one who serviced Herbie's Rhodes for his 50th anniversary concert at the Hollywood Bowl, which I was at, and they did the Headhunters 50th anniversary, bro. They did Cantaloupe. They did all the stuff from like Thrust. It was amazing to hear
Yeah.
Herbie on the roads. I can't
That's
believe I heard
insane.
that. Yeah, but that being said, so yeah, we were there at the session, and we none of us really knew what was going to come of it. You know what I mean? Terrace just again, he had a vision, and he was like, "Hey, what if we do this?" And by the way, I love the what if question.
Yes.
Love the what if, because it opens up so many possibilities.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that later. But that being said, yeah, Terrace just hit me, went to the studio, and then however many months later, shows up on the ballot, and but it makes sense because at that time with what was going on with the music and the sound, he really was doing something different, in that way, especially to be in the R&B category, best
Yeah.
R&B album it was nominated for. So Lalah Hathaway was on there, Kamasi Washington was on there, Robert Glasper was on there, Ronald Bruno Jr. was on there. So many people, Ryan Porter. I mean, so many cats. So it was just again one of those career opportunities that I'm just so grateful for. And honestly, the actual plaque itself, does it mean anything in all actuality? No, absolutely not. Not at all. However, what it did do for me was sort of, and remember in the beginning where we said, what's the definition of a professional? And I gave it to you. That's still true. Now, beyond that, each professional has their own benchmarks for what we like to say we made it. You know what I
Sure.
mean? What does we
Right.
made it? What does I made it mean? You know what I mean? For me personally, I made it means that in some form or fashion, I'm affiliated with a Grammy.
Yeah.
And so with that on my wall, it reminds me of the 7 years that I spent in LA in a little tiny 450 square foot studio apartment, and I just grounded it out, almost got evicted several times. COVID happened. It's like, it's not easy, to be honest with you. Anybody who has a dream of doing, of traveling the world, recording music, having it be, whatever your definition of make it is, just know that, first of all, you can.
Yeah.
Heaven and hell is in the mind, life and death is in the tongue. Be careful what you say. You know, in 2017, when Leslie Odom Jr.'s album came out that had Autumn Leaves on it, I'm like, yo, who is this guy? His voice is incredible. Like, where does this dude come from? Then,
Yeah.
then okay, Hamilton, boom, boom.
Right.
But in 2017, when I'm listening to this, man, I'm seeing myself. I'm like, I said, one day I'm gonna play for this dude. And 2021, I get a phone call. So, so that's what I'm saying. Like people, and mind you, if you know me in person, I talk a lot. I say a lot of words. I talk, a lot of mess. But one thing I know for sure, without even talking, in my heart of hearts, is that whatever you say is. There's not speculation for me. It's by experience. I say I'm gonna move to LA. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be somebody. Look what happened. You know what I mean? That's why I'm wearing these glasses. I get emotional a little bit, but yeah. So, and they are prescription. It's not a power play. Relax in the comments, but
Yeah, man.
But no, man. That's what's up, man. I'm just grateful for it all, man.
That's awesome, bro. Man, so there has to be, and you said this a couple of different ways, and what you said just now kind of hammered it home for me. It's a good reminder. If you say anything like I want to do this, I want to be a Grammy-nominated artist, I want to go play for such and such out in LA. Well, nobody's gonna come make that happen for you. You know what I mean? You have to take the steps to get there. Like it's not gonna just fall out of the sky into your lap. You have to put action behind that desire. You have to put action behind those words. You know what I mean? You want to be a Grammy-nominated artist and you don't want to practice your scales? Like, that's ridiculous. You want to be a Grammy-nominated artist and you don't want to try to perform live at all, like in this restaurant or anything.
You don't want to pay to play? No, you have to pay to play in some form or fashion. Monetary or hard work.
Exactly. You're gonna pay one way or another, 100%. 100%.
No, that's just it, man. My great grandpa worded it best, and I'll never forget this. He said, "You have to put legs on your prayers."
Yeah.
If you want something, what does the legs part mean? Oh, that's us. We got to. I'm the one that drove across the country with $1,500 in my bank account. So I'm like, $1,500. Oh, that's zip in LA rent and all this, right? So anyway, but that being said, yeah, man, you just have to have no fear and on everyone in the world, diversity is a beautiful thing. We're all allowed to believe whatever we want to, but for those of us who believe in a higher power and a creator and all of this, we have to have faith. We have to, anything we do, we have to have huge faith, big faith. That's why, that's the only way that you can really succeed in anything, in my opinion and in my experience. I'm only talking about me, right? So, yeah, man, I just had faith and I took big action, and next thing not next thing it took 20 years or so, but yeah. So
yeah, man,
you can do it, man. You can do it. That's the message.
Yeah, man. All right, so out in Vegas, you do some playing over at Pinky Ring at Bruno Mars's club. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That's right, the Pinky Ring by Bruno Mars. It's funny as soon as you walk into the venue, straight flex on his part. All of his Grammys are in the wall, and they're like on each. You walk down the hallway to go inside the club, and there's nothing but straight Grammys. I'm like, wow, that fool is talent. That's a talented guy right there, man. I gotta say, talented guy. But no, it's great, man. We opened that in February of 2024, and yeah, shout out to Daniel Foose, Brian Newman, and the whole Diamond Squad and Adam Jackson, everybody from Austin. But yeah, that's a dope venue, man. I wasn't born in the 70s, but the way it looks inside, that must be what it was like in the 70s. I mean, they got the wood panel walls and the pink velvet couches and stuff like that. Is awesome. But what's fun about that is that there's no phones allowed inside. Which I noticed that about LA, celebrities love that, so they feel more inclined to come and hang out, right? So that being said, yeah, one of the first few times was there, man, we walk off stage, Mike Tyson sitting right there on the front row. I'm like, champ! I didn't know what to say. I was like, so I just give him a fist, man. Hey, man, shout out to you, champ, this type of thing. But one night, Wanye Morris was there from Boyz II Men, and Bruno Mars was also there. He was hanging out in the back, and he decided to come on stage while we were doing Pretty Brown Eyes by Mint Condition. Wow. So yeah, he started singing that, and then he was like, hey, look, I bet y'all don't know That's What I Like. I got that. So I'm like, yo, I know that. So I said, let's go, boom, boom. So we went, and then we actually, on one of the verses, we changed keys to the original key. So he turned around, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. We changed keys. Again, the music director thing. It's like, I don't want to overstep my bounds. I'm just a fill-in guy, but so I'm like, I asked him, you want to change? You want to go to the original? He's like, yeah, sure, let's go.
Hmm.
So we did that. So when we get to the bridge, I don't know if everybody knows the bridge, right? All right. That's why Bruno Mars sings and not me. Yeah, no, but so when we got to that part, he was like, "Man, I bet y'all don't know the bridge," and actually the whole band was like, "Oh, I don't know, I don't really know," but I'm thinking to myself, of course I know that. I'm like, I don't want to and the music director, I'm looking at him and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know either." So man, I'm like, this is one of the moments where I need to just do the thing that I know I should do for the greater good of the moment, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
Regardless of
yeah.
what might happen after the fact. Talking about being a professional and
Right.
making core decisions when on the spot when it needs to be done.
Hmm.
I shouted at the top of my lungs. I was like, "Yo, I got you. Let's go. Let's go. I got you." So this man turned around to the band and he said, "All right, just me and the keys." Bro,
There
I
you
don't know if
go.
anybody has seen Wayne's World, but there's a scene in Wayne's World where he sees the singer for the first time and there's lights. He's a dream
Yeah.
weaver. You know what I mean? That's how I felt, me and Bruno Mars, like this dream,
Uh-huh.
because it was just me and him doing the bridge. And after
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
strawberry, and then the whole band, we all came back. And it was just one of those moments like, bro, I cannot believe that just happened, bro.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
cannot believe it. I got to play the bridge with Bruno Mars. Like,
That's surreal, man.
that's surreal. That's surreal. These are the songs that I play in weddings, and we're doing. But no, to do it with the actual guy, but it just that moment, and of course the band was like, "Hey, thank you, boom, boom." But of course, it just reaffirms the fact that you're there for, when you finally work up and you do the practicing, you do the networking, and you get the calls. You have to realize that you're there for a reason. You know how many people
Yeah.
they could have called
Yeah.
besides
Yeah.
me?
Hmm.
I'm telling you, there's so many.
Yeah.
Like, but the fact is, they know on game day in hardcore decision time, I'm gonna be there to either lay out and let the decision, be made, or if I'm the one that can make the decision to help it, they expect me to make that for the greater good
Yeah.
of the thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's just about trusting your own instinct, trusting your work ethic. It's like, and I say how fortunate I am to be in these, in these arenas and with these kind of people, and while that is true, an opposing truth can also exist, which is, is it good fortune entirely, or is it the fact that when I was 5 years old, I started practicing the piano, and I'm 41 years old now.
Hmm.
That's 30 years of doing the exact same thing.
Right.
When you do that for that long, good things will happen. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to phrase it as humbly as I can say, without saying the fact that no, I worked for this. You know what I mean? I guess
Hmm.
we can just use that. But again, and with all humility, I'm telling you, all humility, I worked to get to this spot, and I'm so grateful for it. Those two things are true. And the reason why I'm even saying any of this is because if there is a young Chris, a 20-year-old me, someone who wants to do this for a living, just know that as long as you don't give up and you take massive action on that big dream, you got it. Like there's no 1 + 1 = 2. Hard work, dedication, perseverance, all three of those equal success. So you can't not win if you be persistent and not give up doing all those
Right.
things.
Right. When preparation meets that opportunity, the success happens.
Bingo. That's what
That's it.
success is, right?
So had
Yeah.
you been in that situation, who knows the bridge? Does anybody know the bridge? And if you didn't know it, you weren't prepared for it. Well, I guess he was going to sing it a cappella. You know what I mean? Or the song would have stopped. But you have this moment now. You have this memory. You have this shining moment because, yeah, the opportunity was there and it was met with your preparation that nobody else saw, right? Those nights that you were staying up late to just grind and do whatever. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's awesome. So getting out of 2025 and entering 2026, What are some other things that you're looking forward to project wise? What's on the horizon for Chris Cadenhead?
I recorded some solo piano music, some songs that I've been playing my whole life. You know, some jazz standards, some familiar songs like Separate Ways by Journey, but of course I'm swinging it as I do. And, yeah, it's just fun. It's just, it's called vignettes. It's a series of solo piano recordings. And basically it's just a snap. Like I'm thinking about my 20-year-old self and being able to have a memory of what I sounded like when I was this age. What things was I practicing? You know, where was I at creatively? So that's kind of what this is. It's more of just a photo album, a sonic photo album for me. I hope, everyone enjoys it, but again, I just put it out. And that's the thing, man. I put out so much music and it's just sat on hard drives for so long, and time out for that, man. Shout out to DJ Jazzy Jeff on an Instagram post I read of his that said we are to die creatively empty, and it just shook me. Like, why am I holding on to this stuff? Like, bro, God forbid, Lord, please let me live. Please, I got so much to do. But if it's your will that I get hit by a bus tomorrow, so be it. I don't want to die knowing that I was holding my creations in, because we were put on this earth to serve others in the form of our own unique gifts. And for us, it's music, right? For others, it's cooking, whatever it might be, right? So someone needs your art. So just put it out. So that being said, that's what was going on as far as music-wise. Project-wise, as evidenced by this, I'm really focused on my YouTube channel, my social media presence. I'm so present in everyday life that I forget to neglect the people who the nice people who leave comments and Instagram replies. I'm here, trust me. It's just life, and but I'm here and I want to learn the game. So thank you, Dion, for agreeing to do this. Shout out to you, bro.
Sure.
I'm gonna pay it forward when it's my turn, right? Online. Sure. So. That being said, that's another focus of mine. And then, speaking of which, shameless plug, I do have a PDF for sale. It's called My Rapid Reharm Reference. And basically, on my channel, you'll see a bunch of reharmonization videos, which is one of my favorite topics to talk about. And I learned this technique in college. And it just changed my life. And that being said, I said, I want to make something, because everybody's like, oh, if I have a C chord, what else can I play? So, well, I'll just lay it all out for you. It's right here, So that's called the Rapid Reharm Reference. Essentially, it gives you all the options. I look at music very simply. There's only two types of chords, major and minor. That's it. In my mind, that's it. I'm only concerned with what the third in the chord is doing, right? So C major, the third is what? Is major. So, okay, so that means anything that relates to major. C major 7, sharp 5, C major 7, flat 5, as long as the C is intact, what did I say? C major 7, sharp 5? Right? Look, the third is here.
Yep.
My major 7, sharp 11, or flat 5 in this case, the third, it's still major, right? So now what about minor, right? So C minor. We have diminished. What about diminished? Okay, but that's still a minor third. So in my mind, I see diminished as it happens to have a flat 5. It's still minor. So sometimes I'll even play a minor chord over the diminished, just because I can care less about this. I just want the third to, as long as I know what's going on with that, right? So what that does is it frees you up with the theory, and it's got to be boom boom. No, those are, to me, that's mental handcuffs is the music theory. Fortunate for me, I can say that. You're like, yeah, Chris, but you learned it. True, I know. That's the catch-22. I know. Trust me, I'm calling my own BS here. But once you learn the theory, you get to throw it away. But just know, on your way to learning theory, there comes a point where you get to this, where you can say, throw that away. I'm deducing my own reasoning behind how this stuff works, right? So that being said, there's only two type of chords, major and minor. So each page there's C chord, minor and major, C sharp, minor, major. So for each of these 12 tones, you have 20 substitutions for every C chord. So what that means is I can keep C major intact and just play different bass notes, right? So you can go down a minor third, so A minor 7. I can keep that, put that up here, and now I can play F. Now I get F major 9, right? Maybe I keep that in my right hand now. Now I go down a minor third, D minor 11. See, but it's in my mind, they're all versions of C. You just have different bass notes in different formations, but I'm not messing with the C. So that means if you're writing a song and you do 2 5 1, you know, instead of C, you can just look at the reference and be like, yo, there's 20 different. Now, mind you, some of them may not work in every context, and some of them are super weird, but at least you know that they exist, and you can use them for moments. Say, I want a weird moment right here before I drop the chorus, or I want, whatever it might be. It's all laid out for you. So that's my shameless plug. It's called the Rapid Reharm Reference. It's on my website, and anybody that is watching this video, we'll give you 30% off, and I'll make sure Dion has a link that we can put in the description. And yeah, if it's helpful for you, please come back and let us know, both of us. And if you have questions, whatever it might be, just feel free to reach out. You ask anybody DM me on Instagram, I'm replying immediately, right? Immediately, I'm replying, so trust me, just give me, ADHD, right, to give me a time, but I got you. But that being said, I'm an open book in that regard. You can ask my students, they all have access to me, and they're always asking me questions. So yeah, reach out, man. I'm always down to help.
Absolutely. And with that, as we get ready to wrap up, Chris, how can the folks at home get connected with you? How can we find you online?
Yes, sir. I am most active on Instagram, and that handle is The Real Cadenhead, 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 The Real Cadenhead, which is kind of like I'm like trolling everyone because, The Real, as if there's other Cadenheads being my imposter. Like, what are we talking about? I thought it was funny just to say, anyway, that's like, no one's checking for my last name. But anyway, The Real Cadenhead at Instagram, and then on YouTube at Chris Cadenhead. And I'm there on Facebook too, but yeah, reach out to me, Chris at chriscadenhead.com. Check out the website. I got some free stuff on there, including presets for the Modern D by VI Labs. I got a free preset on there that I use, a MIDI velocity curve for Yamaha CP88. I've got some a free PDF called the Rapid Reharm Rules. It's my 5 rules that give you quick access to sounds I was just showing you. If you want to dive deeper, then you can buy the Rapid Reharm reference or not and just use the free PDF. But it's all there for you, and reach out to me anytime.
For sure. Everybody, Chris is truly a wealth of knowledge. Like I said, I first got connected with him in person at a workshop in South Florida, and man, I wasn't able to stay the full time, and I wish I was, but I had another engagement. But even just for that hour and a half that I was there, I myself just picked up so much, and I'm already in the professional space, you know what I mean? So definitely use Chris as a resource. You really will not be disappointed. So with that, everybody, we will see you next time. As always, I'm Dion, and we'll catch you later.